What's going on, everybody? Apologies for the noise in the background. Sorry about this. Hopefully they'll be done with this house stuff sooner. This is really getting kind of ridiculous. It's driving me nuts. But anyway, we've got a big day and we've got a lot of stuff that is going to be really hard. I would advise, unless you think you have a really good line on a bunch of things, I think that you should really be backloading everything. And I think you should be playing limited amounts of buy-ins depending on how risk averse you are. Because there is going to be a lot of weird late scratches and things like that. There's guys who are going to sit just even because of trade possibilities. So just keep that in mind. This is a really weird slate. You want to try to avoid anyone from the early games as much as possible, even as good a plays as they might look like. It's like I really like Mobley and Jared Allen. I probably am going to end up getting rid of those guys from my big buy-in lineups. I really like, well, I guess if the Wizards, if Morris and Beal sit, then I'm going to still have interest in the Wizards. But we already lost Kuzma. I think you can make an argument for the Wizards guys. I'm not crazy about stacking these early games because you have so much. I mean, Mike Conley and D'Angelo Russell are actually in the same trade, may be traded today. So if that happens, you end up getting the value from guys like Jalen Noel, who, is not in play anyway, but because of the speculation, if that happens, you're getting a gold mine there. So Jalen Noel, if Conley's out, Colin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson, even Kylie Olynyk will be more solidified. Jared Vanderbilt might be in that trade too. There's a lot going on of stuff we don't know. So that's pretty much what we're going to try and figure. Garland and Mitchell officially out. Well, there we go, because I didn't get that information yet for some reason. Let me just see. Where did that come from? I'm looking at my thing. I still have Garland and Mitchell is in. Let me double check the NBA. That's for sure. I'm guessing that's for sure because you guys, I trust you guys, trust Kobe and Kenny. So it's going to be a little bit weird. Now we're going to have to play a ton of that game. So let me just go through it. It's going to be Rubio, LeVert, and the bigs. So it's going to be hard to backload as much as we wanted to. I think Rubio priority, LeVert priority. And I still like the bigs as well. Almost totally upside down of what I was thinking before. Chetty Osman is a good tournament play. He should still stay low. I'm assuming that he doesn't start. And keep in mind that even if Rubio doesn't start, I think he's still worth playing here. I think most likely they start Neto, who I will avoid, and I'll play Rubio. That's my guess. LeVert is basically going to be lockish button. So yeah, you're going to play probably at least two Cavs, potentially three. All the guys as runbacks are fine, but I'm just not going to do it. I'd rather use my money later. So that's what we're going through. I thought that Cheech was going to be here today, so I was hoping to come through it. Rubio coming off the bench. That's what I thought. Yeah, I figured he would. I didn't have that officially yet. The Lakers need to ignore this. This D'Angelo Russell thing is one of the worst trades the Lakers could possibly make. Absolutely god awful player. Maybe the worst player in the NBA who plays 30 minutes a game. His numbers, they are, even when he shoots the ball lights out like he has been this year, they're horrible when he's on the court. You already have LeBron, who you could argue is the worst defensive player in the league. At this point, LeBron doesn't even play defense anymore. He literally doesn't. He lets everybody go. He doesn't play help defense. He doesn't play man on ball defense. They're going to put D'Angelo Russell out there who plays zero defense as well. Anthony Davis, who can't recover on anything. If you guys watched Anthony Davis play last night, I don't even know what the hell that was. So I don't know what the hell the Lakers are thinking. It's infuriating to me that they're thinking about this. I mean, first of all, and they lose all these guys for nothing. And then, from all their young team from LeBron, I mean, it's just what happens with LeBron. He goes to a franchise, and look, congratulations to LeBron. It's incredible. He's an amazing basketball player. Every franchise, the only franchise that could rebound at all was the Heat without him. Took the Cavs, LeBron went back, but other than that, it's basically been 15 years. Now he's destroying the Lakers. He destroyed the Heat for a little bit. It's very frustrating. Anyway, I'm very irritated by this. So Karis LeVert, Neto start. Yes, okay. Thanks, Kenny. That's good to know. So I'll get off of my Lakers tangent now. I'm probably going to leave in a little bit, and I don't know if I can leave this on, so we might need to restart. What's up, Chase?
Hey, what's going on?
Just trying to make sense of everything. This is going to be a crazy day, and there's going to be a million scratches, just 100% guaranteed.
Why? What's happening?
So the trade deadline is tomorrow afternoon. And there's a number of guys in the later games that are all projected to be traded.
Who do we got?
Conley, D'Angelo Russell. Those are the two obvious ones. But again, if they very well may play tonight. Like I'm going to speculate that they don't. Just the rumor alone it leaves them no reason to play them in either situation. So
those are the two guys, Conley and Russell.
Conley and Russell. Well, those are just two of the guys. There's a million other guys who could be named that we just have no idea about yet. So other than the fact that we now have to play some Cleveland, I really think you want to try to avoid the early games unless they announce like Morris and Beal are also out for the Wizards. Because I just don't see any reason to play the early games for any value or anything except for the Cavs, because it's too much to pass up without Garland and Mitchell.
So Mitchell was ruled out.
And yeah, Mitchell and Garland were ruled out.
Okay, so I'm going to update the projections on that because I had Mitchell as in, so I'm going to change that.
Yeah, and I would really just recommend to anybody just to don't get too much involved. And you can't misinform. Like this is a night where this is not a normal missing information. Like you might end up with a whole team out. Like, you know what I mean? It's going to be weird. I mean, there's an outside. I've heard rumors about 8 guys on Utah being traded today, and I don't know how that's going to work if that ends up happening. They actually have enough bodies probably even to play anyways. But that's sort of what I'm putting as my cutoff line is basically play the Cavs guys we have to, and then try to wait until the 9 p.m. games. You could definitely make an argument for Sacramento and Houston. I just don't know what you're getting out of that, because then you're playing a bunch of mid-tier guys who are going to project worse than these. Like you're going to have play guys at 5K or 6K or whatever that are being projected worse than guys who are like 3K if things go a certain way.
So talk to me a little bit more about that, because again, I'm a little late to the game. I got off a plane, I came and I did my projections and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm glad you made it though.
Well, without knowing about Mitchell and all this trade deadline stuff, because when I was first looking at this, I was thinking the opposite. I was thinking there was nothing 3K to play at all, and I was going to play mid-range stuff. So what is all this what's happening? I have no idea what's happening.
Well, it just automatically, like LeVert is a lock basically, because there's no Mitchell and Garland. I mean, there's so many trade rumors I can't even like go through all of them. I just know the ones that I believe in the most, that I've seen the most often. And the biggest one is that Conley and Russell one, which makes that game an easy starting point, you know, because and even if Conley's out, it's not like everybody like Sexton at 3,800, good play. Jordan Clarkson becomes a really good play, but I think Sexton at 3,800 would become a great play. Jalen Noel would be like a must-have if Russell's out, assuming that he starts. Even if he doesn't start, I still probably would play him in every lineup. I mean, again, unless other value opens up. And I think that the best play on the slate for points is Embiid. I think Embiid on a nationally televised game in Boston I don't mind spending up if you're going to go for the superstar early in the day. I just don't, what I don't want to do is leave myself no pivot room. And every night that's become an issue these days. So I don't want to put myself in that position again. So everything for me will mostly start later unless we, depending on what we hear in the next, 40 minutes, 50 minutes.
So, but you did say, with the exception of the Cleveland, which you probably have to play. What about because originally the Miami value or the Miami players, I guess
they're being way overrated. Like
okay.
Lowry's usage is actually lower than Gabe Vincent's. So the fact that Lowry's out and is going to make these guys all look great doesn't make any sense.
That's very interesting.
It's a great match. That part they've got going for them. But Lowry is like the lowest usage player, like who starts in the NBA. Like he doesn't do it. He doesn't ever try to shoot the ball. He doesn't try to initiate anything as long as Butler, Hero, and Bam are there. So yeah, people can go ahead and play these guys as chalk. I don't mind. Like I still think it's a great matchup for Hero. Jimmy Butler's fine, and they're all fine. I just don't see anybody you need to play. I do like the Max Struss, but I might get off of that because I think his other values can be better. And I think Gabe Vincent's fine, but I think there's going to be better value with that also.
Well, this is making my life a little bit easier, actually, because what I was going to say about this slate was that my favorite thing my favorite game was actually going to be the last one.
Good.
Was going to be Golden State and Portland, starting with like Poole and Lillard, and it kind of flows nicely with the idea of waiting anyway. You know what I mean?
Sure, but you want to get some other little pieces in there, right? Just in case there's, you want to have some cheapos. So like you can play Eubanks and then always pit it over to somebody else.
Well, I was going to play him anyway.
Yeah, or you could play Kuminga just as a placeholder.
I was going to play him anyway.
There you go. So you play those guys and then you adjust when the news comes in.
Yeah, if anything comes from Utah or Minnesota, then I'm going to need to play.
Yeah, and I really want to stress that I think the only thing we should be analyzing right now are the early games and the spend ups we like. I don't think anything else is that relevant yet on this slate until we actually get starting lineups. I really don't. So with people asking for questions for top plays, the only plays we should be talking about are like LeVert. Both Cleveland bigs are great plays, and Rubio. And then to me, it's Embiid, who's a spend up, and everybody else. I'm just not going to take any other value unless we get Morris and be allowed.
Yeah, those guys were regarded as game time decisions, right?
Yeah. So we'll probably know just as we get off. Yeah, so I'm going to be. I mean, I think that it's pretty. I think the weird part is that Neto is going to look like the play to people. I think that Rubio is still a better play than Neto is. I think that they're both. I think you're fine for Neto. Like I don't think that it's going to be like the worst thing. But I would personally rather play Rubio. I think the upside is just so much higher. I think Neto squeaks into 25 fantasy points here enough to where he looks good, but Rubio can get up to 40 if things go right. And Dean Wade is in play. I mean, really, if I had to just rate the Cleveland stuff, for me, it's LeVert number 1, it's Rubio number 2, it's Mobley number 3, and Allen number 4. And then you get into Neto, Dean Wade, and I think Cedi Osman is an incredible larger field tournament play. But I think
that depends on the starters to some degree.
We know who the starters are. They announced basically that Neto. They said Neto would start in LeVert. So really, it's everybody else is the same. So Rubio won't be starting, but and I mean, look, he played 21 minutes the other night. Even if you tell me Rubio splits minutes and ends up splitting them with Neto, like I find it very hard to believe that Rubio is not projecting better than he is right now.
And Rubio, I mean, he does all those peripherals,
exactly. It's not like he needs to do have a shooting night or anything to do anything.
Well, thank God for that.
The only problem you run into with him is that you got Karis LeVert with the ball.
Yes, you do.
And you're not going anywhere. So LeVert's a lock for me. Rubio, I'm taking Rubio over Neto, and I have. If you want to play 3 Clevelands, I'm not going to fault you for it. Mobley and Allen are both really good plays, and then if you want to get into the Dean Wade, Cedi Osman stuff, I think that's totally fair. Yeah, Okoro is nothing. Okoro is not a play. Don't talk yourself into Okoro. If he happens to get there, it's just totally by random circumstance. And you say he's been okay. How has he been okay? He's been over 23 fantasy points one time in his last 8 games. Why are we playing? You're not playing Okoro. That would be a mistake in my opinion. There's no reason to do it. Struss versus Vincent on FanDuel. If you can do it, neither would be my answer. Vincent is the correct answer. Struss would be better on DraftKings. Yeah, we know Kuzma's out. That's been out a while. Heard Eric Gordon's getting traded. I haven't seen anything official on Eric Gordon yet. We've been talking about this Eric Gordon at the deadline every year. He's always one of them, but he's still projected to start. So if Eric Gordon's out, then I do think that is a nice little bump to Jalen Green, who I already like anyway. And I don't know if I want to do the Josh Christopher, even if he starts again. Right. I'm very up in the air on that one.
We got all kinds of smacking over there, huh?
It's horrible. I have nothing I can do about it. You rent a house and they spend a month and a half beating the hell out of it and working on it, which is not supposed to be a part of the thing. So it's so this is the question, Kevin. You keep asking the same questions. I can't answer the spend down questions because we don't know who's playing yet. So I mentioned the guys you can use as fillers, but there's no way to answer who's the thing. Like I don't know. I don't know who's playing. I think the guys you can use as fillers are guys like Kuminga, Jalen Noel, Colin Sexton. Every one of those guys is a path anyway. You might end up with, Minnesota may end up with like 4 guys out tonight. Gobert's still questionable, legit questionable. Kyle Anderson's legit questionable. And
did I see the other day that when Anderson sat, that Naz Reid started for him?
That what? Naz Reid started for him, yeah. Didn't work out well.
Oh, whatever.
Well, that's a huge thing though, because that means it's almost impossible. I doubt they would do the same thing again. They were down by 30 like instantly.
Oh.
So it's one thing. It's like what happened with Brandon Clark and Xavier Tillman recently. Like people didn't understand that Brandon Clark was starting because of matchups where they weren't playing true bigs. And then all of a sudden when Tillman was starting, he was like 4% owned at like 3,400. He put up like 40 fantasy points. Rashad in the chat, what's up? How much money? I'm not trying to leave money on the table. I don't think that's what I'm saying at all. I'm saying build your lineups with the best plays in the later games, giving you flexibility. So, like for example, what I'm doing, I'm gonna make sure no matter what in my lineup is going to be in my main lineups is going to be Karis LeVert. Ricky Rubio is the one I'm siding with over.
Dude, I know you can't do anything about it. I can't listen to that. If you want to, when you get off, I'll come back.
I'll mute. You talk for a second. You talk.
Yeah, I'm going to. Yeah, this is no good. So let me just show you what my let me just show everybody what my what at least my sheets look like right now. And as Bobby mentioned, this is like if you want to focus on this Cleveland stuff first, I can show you what to focus on. Okay, so what we have are you looking at 4 of the top 5 values are right from Cleveland. LeVert, Neto, Osman, and Rubio just on points per dollar. They're all over 6x. And Jared Allen it looks like a really, really strong play. And not to mention going down to Mobley and Dean Wade. So, you could, the question is, like Bobby is saying, like if you play all these Cleveland guys, okay. So if you just say, screw the late games, I'm just going to just hammer Cleveland, for example. What you're gambling on, and maybe it's not the worst gamble in the world, is that you're gambling that the value, if it does show up later, is not as good as the Cleveland stuff. And I got to say, that's a pretty decent argument. Look at these Cleveland projections. Between just like LeVert, and I know Nato's not the greatest player in the world, but still 7x is 7x, and between him and LeVert and Rubio, and Chetty Osman, maybe they're just better than even the value that would open up, Bobby. If like weird shit happened later, unless like you said, unless you get like a big blockbuster trade where like 3 guys are held out for like what?
Like I said, I wasn't exaggerating when I said the 8 players for Utah that might be traded today.
Right.
There really may be 8 players. Some of it may be tomorrow. But they also have, like you still have Vanderbilt questionable, and if that happens, you're gonna miss out. But like you said, I don't mind. Like you're playing the Cleveland guys. I'm absolutely. There's no way I'm building a lineup without 2 players from Cleveland minimum. So that's okay with me. I'm also using Embiid as a spend up because, especially like this perception or something. I don't know why Embiid is projecting this poorly and low owned. I'll take that all day, every day, and then hope my other value hits. But what I'm doing, because there's other good value plays later, like Chris Boucher. This is a perfect Chris Boucher type of game, and he's actually been getting the run at 4,400. Use him as a guy. Use Eubanks. Use JaMychal. I'm sorry, not JaMychal Creed. Use Jonathan Kuminga use these guys as placeholders and gamble. I'm not saying you have to. That's what I'm going to do. That is absolutely for sure what I'm going to do. And I still like guys like Jordan Poole. Yeah, I don't know. So I actually think it builds out pretty decently if I play Boucher, I don't have guard spots with Levert. Oh, why do they make Levert only shooting guard eligible? It's really frustrating.
Is something wrong with the values on FanDuel? Are they worse? Like, a Cleveland not as good on FanDuel for some reason?
I haven't even had a chance to look yet.
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now. Let me just see something. Yeah, for whatever reason, I'm not getting much on Levert over here. No, there's something wrong. There's just something wrong. Yeah, I didn't update it right. I'll fix it. Because I am playing FanDuel, so I want to make sure I get that right.
Yeah,
he's only 5,100 on FanDuel, so that's. Oh God, yeah, it's like kind of I don't know about this, Bobby. I don't know what to do. I don't know if I can give up. I don't know if I can give up these Cleveland guys.
Yeah, I don't think you need to. I mean, you don't, but you also don't want to play 5 of them in like one lineup. So
yeah, I wouldn't do that anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, it's late. This is for the next until after the trade deadline, it'll become a little bit easier. But we're going to be speculating on lineups and stuff. It's just really tough right now. Yeah, Levert's a great play on both sides.
Yeah, he is great on both sides. I just want to update the projection on FanDuel.
I guess there's no, to answer the question of is there anybody I'd whatever play or not play. I guess I wouldn't maybe play Wade and Osman together, but even that I think is okay. I don't know if there's a rule I would need to set. I wouldn't play Neto and Rubio. I just think there's better ways to. Well, even that's probably okay, to be honest with you, but I'm not going to do that. So I don't really have a ton of rules that I would list. I don't think it's they're all cheap enough on Cleveland. Maybe what I wouldn't do is play Rubio, Levert, Neto, and anybody else or something. But I actually really like Mobley and Allen, and they were like 2 of my favorite plays on the slate to start the day. So I'm struggling a little bit because I don't really want to play 3 guys at first, but then I'm like, maybe I just should. I mean, Evan Mobley, this is a premium matchup for these guys, and you have none of your offensive initiators. Although the funny part is Levert will do his best he'll act like those guys. He'll take as many shots.
Yeah.
Let's see. Watford's another one you could use as a value, say as a usable piece that you don't know what you're going to do with. Oh, my biggest, literally got it in 10 seconds too late last night. I was trying to switch over a lineup build that had Jericho Sims in it, and instead of my other value, which would have got me what made me a winning player last night rather than a losing player. But I didn't quite get it in time. This is really a weird slate. Yeah, I'm trying to build out exactly what I want to do here. And I actually liked my first build before this Cleveland news better than I thought I would. I think I'm going to end up with no Gabe Vincent. I think you could still talk me into like a Struss or something from Miami, as long as he's still got the small forward eligibility. Yeah. The guards are where it's tough because I'm just gonna plug in Rubio, Levert, or you're either plugging in Rubio, Levert, or Neto, Levert, and then I'm gonna plug in Noel and just speculate and adjust if I have to. I'm gonna plug in Jordan Poole. So all of those guys leave me no other guards. So I just can't get to any other. I'm just like Nembhard, who looked like a good play earlier in the day, which I didn't entirely understand why as much, but I think you want to try and find some values at forward. So maybe that's something different you could do is play Chetty and Levert and maybe skip the Cleveland guards. That might be interesting. Let's see. We're getting other news in. Bradley Beal is available. So Bradley Beal is fine as a play, but I'm just not going to do it. I just believe that there's too good of a chance that like 5 guys are out for especially for Utah. Like, this is the team with all the pieces that can trade everybody. I do like Kelly Olynyk. So he's a great example. I like that question, K9. I'm going to play Kelly Olynyk in as one of my value guys, right? Like that's a perfect, because he's a good play anyway.
He's probably not going to be one that gets traded.
Well, he's definitely on the block. I've heard his name about 10 times today.
Oh yeah,
but not in the same way that this Russell trade that's being reported. Like, this one's actually being reported as a thing. Trey Lyles and Stanley Johnson, no to both.
Not today, not any day really, but
yeah, they're for what it's worth, they do have like almost no players available. Like, so I don't know what to do with the Spurs. They're going to get killed. I will keep playing this kid Branham in any other matchup. I'm just not doing it tonight. They are going to get probably smashed.
I have a question for you. You playing any Kyrie Irving?
No.
Okay.
So Jack's saying that Kelly is way too cheap. I like the play. Why is he way too cheap? He's basically has he put up one decent game? No. He's had one game. If you go back 2 months, he's had 2 games you would accept. That's not good. That doesn't mean he's too cheap. That means he's probably appropriately priced. One of these days he'll break out and have a big game, but I'm using him as a placeholder. That's what I'm doing. And I got off of that Toronto San Antonio situation partly because I think it's a blowout. Somebody's probably going to get there, but I'm just going to wait. I'm going to try and do the right thing for once and actually listen to what I say, and instead of doing all this weird shit.
I like that.
Noel, then I can't get in Sexton if I want to play pool. Wow. Too many guards. That's the thing that's also interesting about that trade, Sheets, is that not only does it affect 2 players in the same game, but they're in the same trade. So not for each other in a 3-way trade. So it would be really weird if they played, even if it was just a possibility that trade goes through.
And this is Russell.
And what's his name? Conley.
It's a weird trade.
Well, it's a 3-way. It's a terrible trade for all the teams. The rumor that's out there. I don't really understand.
Everybody loses.
I feel like everybody loses.
It's like ICM, like the rest of the field wins if like these guys go after each
other. Okay, I'm looking at it now. Let's see.
So that all looks good. So Beal, you said is available.
Yeah. I mean, it's so easy just to play Tatum and Embiid together if you wanted to do that.
Monty Morris is out.
He is officially out? Okay, I'm curious who's starting.
Chamberson has him out. I don't know.
Okay, I am curious who they're going to have starting in that case.
I mean, you probably get some Kendrick Nunn action or something, right?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, there's also DeLon Wright. They still have other guys.
Right.
Such a good matchup, though. I kind of like the DeLon Wright, to be honest with you. I'd throw him into a couple lineups. I don't know how heavy I'd be on it because I like the other guys better. And again, anybody who has forward eligibility, that's really all I'm looking for right now.
Yeah.
I don't even need to play Kelly O here. I can play the 3. I can play Mobley. Okay. And then you go 11-2, 3,900. Yeah, so that's what my build is right now. 3 Clevelands, Embiid and Tatum, and then nonsense from the later games that I hope hits.
I wonder how many's the most I could play from Cleveland.
I think if you play more than 3, you should be playing one of the big guys.
Yeah.
That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't like that I'm playing so many guys. Like I really want to spend on the later guys, but it's hard to get a build I like with because I'm gonna play Embiid tonight. That part I've already made my mind on. What the hell? No.
I don't want to play Irving. I don't want to play Kyle Anderson either, even if he plays. I don't like.
Yeah,
I don't like playing.
Good switch right there. What's that?
I don't like playing the back spasms guys.
Oh yeah. Neither do I. Anybody who's ever had back spasms is probably a little bit lower on.
Exactly. Horford is questionable.
Would I play Luke Cornett? Are we even sure Luke Cornett would be the guy in line in that game? I like Horford as a play. I'm not trying to force anybody else in from that game. I'm not trying to force anybody else in for value. Like Robert Williams is healthy. Even when neither of those guys played, Cornett was still a wild card play at best. So I certainly would not co-sign any Luke Cornett tonight. If he was starting, maybe you could talk me into it, but even that, I would probably just play Grant Williams. Even that, I don't even like. Kyrie, not for me, but Kyrie's totally fine. He could have a big game, but it's not what I'm doing.
I think if anything, he'd probably try to get other people involved. I don't know. His first game there.
Yeah. It's hard to know with that guy.
Yeah. And I don't feel like playing Gobert with the groin.
I think Gobert might sit too. I mean, I know it's back in Utah, but like that's why I keep saying that. Like, if I don't have like 4 roster spots at least for that game, I'm gonna feel like I did something wrong.
No. Like Draymond at all? I mean, like if we're still alive, then you know what I mean.
Hold on, I just got lost. Is Robert Williams out also? That changes my answer. I just saw that it says Williams and Horford out, but I haven't confirmed.
Maybe that means Grant Williams. We'll take a look.
It could mean Grant Williams, but that's still, again, that still would make me like him. There's just no reason why that news has to come in this late from the Celtics. Like, this is a national. I mean, and they got it in just an hour in time, but like, you can't just tell us at the beginning of the day. There's no reason.
Right.
It's not even warmed up yet. Okay, so I'm gonna see what that does, and I still don't have any updated things with those guys out. Yeah, if both those guys are out, then I do think you could talk about Cornett a little bit. It's really weird they would do that. It's such gamesmanship is what it is. It's like you have the two best teams, arguably the two best teams in basketball playing each other. So we're gonna sit our 2 big guys who are the only guys to cover Embiid. Like, they're just trying to hide everything until the postseason. It's so silly.
Do we have any Celtics confirmation? Hold on.
No. I mean, I have people who all seem to agree that those guys are out. I think Blake Griffin probably starts. I'm not going to play Blake Griffin. I think Grant Williams would be the guy I play. It's weird though, because none of these guys match up at all with Embiid, and unfortunately, it's probably going to get a few more people on Embiid.
Yeah, Robert Williams and Al Horford out. That's 7:30. Is this where you're supposed to play that? Who's that guy that smashes all the time? But I don't play him on Boston. Hauser. Does he have anything to do with today or no? No, different position. Okay.
I mean, he still might get some time or whatever. So I might have to play Klay Thompson instead of Poole because of the avenue that I'm going down here. Grant Williams is probably a pretty good play, by the way.
Yeah, you gotta. He's 3,200.
It's just always frustrating with him though, because you really could get that weird, that just crazy dud of a game.
I mean, the real play is probably Jason Tatum.
I'm playing Jason Tatum, but actually those guys being out doesn't help him any.
You don't think it helps his rebounding?
Nah, not really. I mean, maybe his rebounding a little bit. I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe a little bit it helps his rebounding. It's hard to surpass what he's already been doing rebounding wise. He's been going nuts lately. If Jaylen Brown was out also, then I would do it. Right now I have Tatum in my build, and I don't necessarily feel incredible about it.
So what do we have to figure out by 7? 7 o'clock, we have to figure out if we want to play anybody from Cleveland, if we want to play anybody from Washington. And then 7:30, we do have to address the Boston. And Miami. And Utah news could come by 8:30. Who knows? Like you said, if maybe they just rest people without telling anybody why. I mean, like, is that possible?
Who?
You said these Utah guys.
Oh, they're all on the traded block.
Right.
You can go ahead and play Sam Hauser. Anybody who's going to look better when he gets 5 threes, like in a game. I know Hauser started that game. I still don't think they prefer him over Grant Williams. But you can play Hauser, and we don't know who's starting yet. So like, look at who's starting. If Hauser starts,
we don't know anything.
Yeah, between Cedi Osman and Grant Williams, Cedi Osman for me, without knowing, because we don't know who Boston's going to start. Let me think about that one. That's actually a really good question. Which one between Cedi? It's a good question. And then you've also got Kendrick Nunn in the mix. Ugh, I'm not going to play Kendrick Nunn. I'm not going to play Kendrick Nunn.
So just so everybody knows, I put this in the Discord. I'm gonna be here at 11 to go to sweat these late these late games. And hopefully somebody's alive in these things. Or someone's gonna be alive in something. Maybe it's not us, but we'll see. And then that's what I'm gonna do. I just couldn't find time to do it earlier. I'm gonna do people really liked what I did last week, Bobby. I did like my lineup build, like kind of live with the golf. And as I did so, I talked about who I kind of like. I saw your core on there. And I'll address that too. But people really, really liked it, and it was good. Hey, and you know what? It worked out for me to have a sweat for like 3.5 days. So I'll be here at 11, and hopefully someone here is deep in something. But if not, I'll go over whatever whoever is deep or something. Just talk about the slate and go over some golf and stuff like that. If you're around, I'll ping you, and you can just
Yeah. I may or may not be around. I'll try.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just basically waiting on Boston right now.
Yeah, we're not going to know about that for 45 minutes.
You don't think you get starters until then?
No, I'd be surprised. It's possible. They might throw out there who they're playing.
I'm not getting any guesses from Boston, from the Sabres stand. Let's see if we can get any guesses out of RG. No, not really. Yeah, they're giving Grant Williams 33 minutes. And then
it's going to be hard not to play him.
What?
It's going to be hard not to play him at 33 minutes.
Well, that 33 minutes had a 22 fantasy point projection.
It seems a little low.
They're giving Blake Griffin 20 minutes, so maybe they're going to start him.
I expect them to start him.
Yeah.
That's what they've done. That's what they've usually done. I am with one series of lineups not going to do my weird thing, but most of my other ones are going to be similar. Yeah, it'll be live on YouTube, Jolly.
Yep.
Let's see.
Let me see what these other dudes did with him. These Boston guys, if anything.
Weird stuff in Boston.
Delon Wright.
It's like this is a nationally televised game. You're at home. What are they doing? I was gonna play Horford. He always plays well against Embiid too.
Grant Williams, another guy's got him at 28 minutes, 18 fantasy points. Cornette, 18 fantasy points. Blake Griffin, 13. Yeah, Hauser, 13. Tatum. Let me see if Saberson was adjusted yet. I don't think so. This is the last thing I was expecting, huh? Is to deal with freaking Boston.
Yeah, no, I wasn't really ready for that either.
Okay, so SaberSim is kind of hedging their bets a little bit. Grant Williams about 19 fantasy points. Cornette 19 fantasy points. Griffin 18 fantasy points.
Yeah.
So none of them are like a must play.
No.
But I think you might supposed to be playing one of them. I just don't know which one. I don't want to play Griffin though.
Yeah. Me either. It'll burn you every now and then, but I'm not worried about it terribly, so I'll probably skip it too.
But when they announce starters, I think somebody's got to pop a little bit more, I think. But maybe not, like those guys are going to split minutes to some degree.
Yeah, there's totally a chance that it evens out. The only thing I would caution people is like Jaylen Brown has missed a lot of games recently, so I understand it's a different position, but like there aren't that many more minutes to go around than there have been because he plays more minutes than these other two guys who are starting. So you're not getting that many extra minutes where everybody's going to go nuts for Boston.
And this is out of whom?
Boston.
Oh, you mean in general? Okay.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. I'd like to find. God, I really can't figure out a build I really like. I'm trying to make sure I leave at least 4 spots for the later games, but I'm playing Tatum and Embiid, and then I have to have Rubio and LeVert. I don't think you need to play any of the Boston guys, by the way, for what it's worth.
I think that's where I'm going to end up coming down as well, Bobby, as not needing to play them.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
I mean, but like I said, not because they're bad plays, but I mean, I just think it's worth the wait also.
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to hear kind of a fun story while we're kind of just like waiting for 5 minutes? So I was at UVA yesterday and today, and we went to the game last night. UVA was playing NC State. And NC State is a really good point guard. Not Travion Smith, something Smith. And so anyway, we were waiting to go over to the game. We were in the hotel, and this guy started talking to us. He was actually a scout for the Detroit Pistons.
Oh wow!
Yeah, we spoke to him for a while. He was there to see the NC State guy and also to see the guy Beekman from UVA. It was kind of cool. He was like talking to the state. The NC State guy's about maybe a top 20 guy in the draft, and the Beekman guy for UVA is like in the second round. But we were talking to him. It was really really just cool, just totally out of randomness, just like talk to an NBA scout. It's kind of neat.
That's cool. That's really cool. I'm going to try and get Tatum out of my lineup because it's the only way I can kind of do what I want to do here. I actually really like the Tatum play. I was kind of excited to do it, but.
Hey, it's around the corner, by the way.
What's that?
Baseball.
Baseball is around the corner. That's true.
And do the Dodgers have any players left?
Yeah, they'll be the best team in baseball again.
Nice.
Lose to some other lousy team. They've literally been the best team in baseball. Like this is like the only reason it's not a dynasty is they just can't win the World Series. They got 1. They should have like 10. 10 in the
Who did they lose? They lost a couple guys, right?
Yeah, they lost a bunch of guys, but they're still good. And they also added guys like they got JD Martinez for nothing on a 1-year deal. Starting to look like Boston from a couple years ago.
Where did Walker Buehler go?
He's done the Dodgers.
Oh, I thought he left.
No, he's been hurt. He was hurt forever.
Oh, okay.
He'll be a Dodger for sure. Okay, so I'm just going over to my FanDuel builds and seeing if I really like Jalen Green, by the way, and I actually do have DeLon Wright. My FanDuel build is actually, you know what I'm going to do? I might just leave my FanDuel build and not do, because I'm still only a $40 tournament anyway. I'm not playing a big one. And it looks so pretty. It looks perfect. I have Anthony Edwards in my big buy-in lineup, by the way.
He's a really good. He's like a good GP play like all the time.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll tell you, also a really good GP play all the time. The guy you just mentioned, the Jalen Green.
Yeah,
I mean, they're pretty similar in a way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Anthony Edwards. You would have loved Anthony Edwards because of what he said about. They asked him about because everybody was pissed off for not making the All-Star team. And they asked him if he was mad about it. He goes, "No, I didn't deserve to make it. I had a really bad first month and a half of the season."
Oh, nice.
No, that's awesome. I've never heard anybody answer like that before.
Yeah. So what I'm getting, I just did another thing. I mean, Grant Williams becomes like, and Luke become like a play, but like not necessarily better than any of the Cleveland guys,
Yeah, exactly. That's what I've got as well.
So let me fix this.
I'm pretty much ready to roll once, just waiting for starting lineups, I think.
Yeah, just one last update of the projections, which are now up. So anybody wants to, I don't want to say bitch. I don't like that word anymore. Anybody wants to complain to me about not putting projections up, you could all go F yourself because they're up at 648. That's the best I'm going to do.
That's pretty good, man.
That's really not bad. And we're only missing. I mean, we're missing stuff that we really can't have any idea that we would know. So that's all I can do.
Right, and I hate to say it, we're gonna have a funny similar conversation on a very small slate tomorrow I'm gonna talk about it because you're gonna have guys who after the deadline you find the next 4 hours you find out about deals that we didn't even know.
I guess so, huh?
Yeah. I don't think there's anything weird about the Sixers being a 3-point dog still. That those two guys being out really affects nothing. Like I don't think that's a real thing.
Who were they playing?
They're playing Boston. Boston's fine.
Boston,
when they were at their best, they weren't playing either. Neither of these guys. Williams was hurt, and Horford would play a game and miss a game every game. So
that doesn't exist.
Yeah, I have a tiny bit of DeLon Wright on FanDuel. I don't think it's a great play. It's something I'm willing to take a little bit of a gamble on, but I don't feel in love with it. We just had the situation came up, and he hasn't done shit. And they have Kendrick Nunn now, so I don't think you should be trying to prioritize him. I do have him in a lineup. He was released. Did I miss something?
Who?
You just said Walker Buehler was released. Did I miss? I mean, I know he's having a serious surgery.
I heard something. I did hear he's not in the Dodgers.
I may have missed it. I don't tune into baseball much.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal was, but I did hear they weren't going to have Buehler. I didn't know what that meant, though. I thought he was just traded.
What? I don't have. I don't even know where you're getting that information of Walker Buehler being released, unless I'm like, was it a long time ago?
Probably find out in 2 seconds, but I'm just building. It's like,
The only thing that comes up for Walker Buehler released is that the Dodgers released all their guys who didn't have the vaccine. And he was one of them. He didn't get the vaccine. Yeah, if you want to show me that, Andrew, like that seems like just made up stuff to me. I cannot see in any world how that's possible.
what is the status of Walker Buehler? Signed 1 year, $8 million contract with the Dodgers in January. So, he underwent Tommy John surgery in April. I don't have anything.
That I knew.
I don't know why I just thought he wasn't going to be on the team. I don't know. Maybe I started the rumor.
Oh no, he may not be on the team. That part is true because of the injury is going to linger. And I can never top my first DFS. Because got people talking about baseball in here. Can never top my first DFS thing. The first time I played the 333 of any kind, I won it for 100,000.
No shit.
And that was before there was only like one tournament a week that was like 100,000 to first, but they threw another
baseball.
Yeah, the next time, so I played 2 lineups. I won in that one. Then I played like 10 lineups in the Saturday one, and then I finished first and third in that one. But they were the 2 consecutive 100K ones. That's why they sent me these bats.
That's amazing.
That was. I wish it was as soft as it was back then. Ugh, what a weird basketball slate.
Wow, DeLon Wright is getting all kinds of love in my FanDuel sheets.
Yeah, he works for me better on FanDuel as well. That's what I was saying.
4,300, you know?
Yeah, just don't be surprised if you get 12. Like,
yeah, he can certainly get 12.
We've seen it happen a bunch of times. It's kind of cool that of all the top projected guys, I'm not really playing anybody outside of Levert. Oh, I guess I'm playing Rubio.
You're not playing pool?
I have some pool. I'm debating whether to keep him in my big buy-in or not.
It helps with the idea of
it's just the guards.
No, being of waiting too.
Yeah. So that's why I'm playing. So that's what I had just to give everything away. Like I had my original build that I just had built was Rubio, Levert, but then I had Tatum, Grant Williams, and Embiid. So then I only had 3 spots for these late night things to make any difference of. But so I switched it up and I played Olynyk and Edwards instead of Tatum and Williams. And I put Noel and then I put Beasley in the forward spot, even though he might get traded, and Jordan Poole in the reserve. Because I figure that if I have those pieces to work around, I can adjust if I need to. Because like I like Sexton better than Beasley if Conley's out, but I just need that forward spot. So it was either Sexton and Klay Thompson or Beasley and Poole. That's basically what I came down to for me. And it's again, I'm just speculating. I could be completely wrong. I mean, not even wrong. It wouldn't even be wrong. I'm not even saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying there's a chance it could happen, and I want to be all over it with all the time and everything left that nobody else has.
All right. I guess I could skedaddle. I'll be back at 11, hopefully with a sweat of my own or Bobby's, and secondarily, a sweat of somebody else in here. And by the way, I don't know if you went over this in any of your recordings since I was away the last couple of days. But shout out to the Oren, the O2 for he took that. Yeah, I don't know if you talked about it, but he won the showdown in the PGA for $50K the other day, and he's like an up and comer. You know what I mean? I shouldn't say up and comer. He just hit 100,000 in MMA like within the last 3 or 4 months, or 50, 70K, whatever it was. He's also putting stuff up on Stake Kings, which
I'm buying him up on Stake Kings.
We should probably all buy instead of playing ourselves, if you want to know the truth.
I'm buying him on Stake Kings. I bought you today on Stake Kings.
Yeah. And Yeah, so good on him. That's for sure.
Yeah, Kobe, I don't mind the Gafford thing. Just be aware the slate may completely switch shift, and that's okay. You can play the early games. There's good plays in the early games. It just may all shift. That's all I'm just throwing out there. Two most trade hungry teams in the same game. I'm gonna go after it. And you know what? I've got outs even if I'm wrong. I've got outs.
Right.
But what happens when Gobert and what's his name are ruled out, and then I can play Naz Reid and I can get all kinds of stuff going.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna split. If Bob, if you somehow see something, I mean, either put it in Discord or something like something really big.
Oh, I will for sure.
I'll come back to check, but you know how I get. Sometimes I'll just space out and just do something else.
Yeah.
But that'll do it. I'll see you guys in a few hours.
All right. Good luck, everybody.